You're just moments away from a brand new episode of WTF Nations Radio's Pop Culture Warrior, hosted by the dynamic duo CQ and Radar. Pop Culture Warrior is your number one source for all things entertainment. If it's happening in TV, movies, video games, or comedy, they're all over it. And don't forget to say hi in the comments below. And while you're at it, let the boys know what you think and what you'd like to hear them talk about. Now strap in and get comfortable, because you're in for one hell of a ride. This is Pop Culture Warrior. Shots.
Broadcasting live from the basement of the Pentagon. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Welcome, one and all. Today is October the 19th, 2021. This is episode 76 of Pop Culture Warrior, the show where I stay up to date on all the ins and outs of what's happening in pop culture so you don't have to. I am CQ. I'm the Pop Culture Warrior, and with me, as always, is the, let's call him my very own lifestyle coach, the man in the bubble, the voice of the unpop cultured. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Radar.
Hey, everybody, what's going on here?
What's going on, buddy?
Hell yeah, life coach. What's going on, man? You ready for this? You ready for an exciting Tuesday?
It's Tuesday night, brother. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. It's been a minute.
Well, for some of us, it's been a minute.
Yeah, the last time I talked to you, fucking What If was still in the air.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, you missed it, man. We talked all about it. We shouted it out, and you weren't here last week. We did the show without you last week. It was awesome.
There was a blizzard last week.
There was a blizzard where you are. Where you are. Some of us had a heat wave. So, it's all good, though. Loud. Yeah, actually, last week was pretty awesome because we had.
Because I wasn't here. Yeah.
I wasn't gonna say that. Wow, holy smokes, we got somebody on the line. Let's see who this is. Let's find out what happens.
All right then.
Hello, caller. You're on Pop Culture Warrior. Hello, who's there?
Hey, how you doing?
Hi.
Hi.
Who's this?
Yeah, stop sucking dick. Stop sucking dick.
All right. Good talking to you, buddy. As always.
Yeah, that's
gotta love Tuesday nights. Oh,
hey man, hell yeah.
Great.
We're on camera. I think you'd know if we were sucking dick or not.
Yeah, man. You know if you're tuning in, you know what goes on here. We appreciate you. Anyway,
I do that. You know what though? He took the time out of his day.
Yeah.
To call and.
We appreciate our fans. We appreciate our fans. Absolutely. Every one of them. Every one of them. God bless you. Love you.
Yep.
Keep calling in. All right. As
So
I was saying,
yeah, we had a blizzard.
We had a blizzard. Yeah, we had a blizzard. You had a blizzard. I had a heat wave. But yeah, no, it was last week was awesome, man. We had much like that. We well, not much like that. We had about 4 or 5 people call in last week, and we had some really great conversations, and people talked about what they were excited about and what was going on. Yeah, man, it's been it was a good time. It was a good time. So, quick shout out to everybody who is in the chats hanging out with us already. I see Tim, Captain Wayne, Jim. Who else is out there? Jen. I said Jim already. Richard. You guys are awesome, man. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for saying hi. If you're watching, let us know you're watching. Let us know where you're watching from. I'm always curious where you guys tuning in from.
Well, this dude is from Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka, man. Yasiru? Yasiru? Am I pronouncing that right?
Man, I'm not even gonna try.
I appreciate you, man.
Absolutely. Thanks for hanging out, dude. But I'm not even gonna try to say your name, dude. I'll butcher it.
All right, we got George in the house. Big Red 1, Iowa City, Ozarks, Missouri. What's up, guys? John.
Oh shit! Fucking Owl's in the house.
Owl in the house. Was that you that called in, Owl? That's fucked up, man.
That wasn't John Owl. John, he would not be anything near that inappropriate. I love John Owl.
Oh man, I was kidding. Great to see you, man.
Georgia,
Scott. Yeah. Scott, what's up, buddy? Yeah, man. It's been so. I'm gonna be straight with y'all. I feel terrible. All right, I literally feel like I'm on death's door. Stomach just no bueno. I'm not going to paint you any word pictures. I've lost 6 pounds since yesterday. That's all I'm going to say about that. But I've pounded some medicine because I want to be here. We have an awesome guest tonight. Radar was joining us, so you know it's a special occasion.
Yeah.
So the show must go on, and yeah, we're rolling with it. Real quick.
I'll tell you what, there is nothing worse than having a house full of kids and no internet for 2 days. Can I play Xbox? Sure, you make it work. You play Xbox.
Yeah.
You go out there, cut them trees off them lines. You play Xbox.
God bless you, man. God bless you. I don't know how you did it. Real quick, we're coming up on Halloween, guys. And if you were around last year, we did a big spooktacular episode, and so we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it again. We're gonna do it again this year. And I think I'm going to split it up. I'd love, if the audience wants to participate here, I'd love to split it up. I'd love to do it where we're going to do a costume contest. Send us pictures of you in your costume. And we're going to, pick a winner live, our favorite costume. And what do you think? Do we do one like, because I know some people maybe don't dress up, but they like decorate their house, right? They decorate their place, their cubicle, whatever. We do like a person costume contest, and then like a thing costume contest, like a house, apartment, cubicle, car. I don't know. What do you think?
I actually had a good idea, but it sounds dumb, and I feel like half the people can't do it for whatever reason, but it would be kind of fun to have like a dress up your pet costume contest.
Okay. Costume.
But we don't. But in all fair, okay, like if you live in the barracks or an apartment or whatever, you can't have a pet. You know what I mean? That's kind of shit.
Fair enough.
You know what I mean? So like, it'd be a fun game, but it'd be excluding people, and I don't want to do that.
Sure.
What if we have different categories, right? What if we have anybody can have a costume contest, right? You could put on a costume. What if we have the most creative costume? I think that'd be fun.
I think, yeah. I mean, here's what I'm thinking. Because I'm the one that sends out these prizes. It's a lot easier.
Yeah, it's your they don't even ask my opinion.
Yeah. No. No, I think we can absolutely let's take in as many people that want to participate as possible. Send us all your costumes and pictures, and we can decide like, hey, this is the most creative, this one's the scariest, this one's that. and honorary mentions for those, and then just kind of pick our overall favorite, and then maybe that person gets a prize. I don't know. Thoughts?
I don't hate that idea. Just kind of do best of the best.
Sure.
How about we have 2 categories? Hear me out.
Mm-hmm.
We have one that you and I pick,
Mm-hmm.
and we have a people's choice.
How do we vote? How do we take the people's choice?
Do a poll. We'll do a poll on Facebook. All entries have to be in by, say, what do you say? Want to say like Sunday night? Because that's actual Halloween is Sunday night, the 31st, right? All entries have to be in by Halloween, and we will set up you can have it on Pop Culture Warrior, and I can share it on Radar, and we can share it on whatever. And we can do like a people's choice vote. We can just do a I mean, obviously, if we get like 1,000 of them, we'll go through the absolute best, kind of whatever. And if we get, say, 5, we pick out top 5, top 10, something like that. Put either a post, some kind of post on Facebook, like, share, whatever, do something like that.
Yeah.
Have a post for each one, maybe, and whoever gets the most likes wins.
I think I like that. Now, here's the catch-all kind of it. We're going to do our Halloween episode next week, the 26th.
Well, fuck that then. There goes my voting order.
So I was going to say, we've got to figure out how that's going to work. Between now and the 26th, people send in pictures and we can post them, and then that day have a poll. I don't know. Or
we could just do it, you know what, and then like have the poll up for a week.
And then announce it on the November
week.
2nd episode.
Yep, could do that.
Yeah. I like Jim's idea.
I did too. I was just I didn't even finish typing that. I was too busy talking. You'd absolutely win, Jim Handy, in my opinion. But what if we because I like the idea of giving people until Halloween, so that way they're not having to dress up for no reason.
Sure.
But yeah, we could just fucking do that. We could just do that.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
We've got some time.
We got some time. Because so I'm keeping it under wraps for now, because you know me, I don't like to overpromise and underdeliver. So, but November 2nd, we've got something special lined up, not Halloween related. So that's why I kind of want to do the Halloween episode, October 26th, before Halloween rather than after Halloween.
I like it.
And we got something special lined up for the 2nd. So we'll see. I always got not a bad idea. Just do a Halloween special on Sunday.
We could. No, I gotta take kids trick or treating though.
Yeah, I got kids. I gotta take them out too. Stupid kids ruin everything. Anyway, we are here for some pop culture goodness.
Yes.
Am I wrong in saying that?
No, you're right. You are 100% right.
Yeah. Oh, hey, I just noticed that Leon and Mike, you guys watching too, man. Appreciate you guys. I get all the sources from different places. Let's see. Oh man. Okay, so much happened this last week that I kind of want to dive into and share with you guys. So the first thing is they released the trailer for the upcoming Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City. Would you like me to play it for you so that we can all watch it together? All right. So then, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the trailer for Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City.
Come on. Every story has a beginning. Discover the origin of evil.
Why are you back here, Claire? Your conspiracies weren't true when we were kids, and not true now.
We need to expose Umbrella. Watch this.
I'm afraid, Claire. I'm afraid of what they're gonna do to this town. You see, Umbrella, they had an incident. I'm talking Chernobyl, if you know what I mean. People are getting sick. You gotta help us, Claire. Let the world know what's really going on.
We have to contain this.
Shall we go? What were Umbrella doing here?
This is where they're experimenting on them.
We should split up.
What the?
We gotta get out of here.
We're gonna take Umbrella down.
Whoa! Whoa, whoa, whoa. What say you, Mr. Radar?
Well, I'm going to say this. I hope they fix the CGI on that dog, 'cause that was ridiculous. No, I dude, I could pick out anything and be like, that's not my own.
Yeah, yeah.
No, it actually does look good. I don't hate it. But God, it's so hard, dude. So hard.
Yeah,
Because,
I'm so hard too.
Well, no. You probably are. But okay. But we've got when these come out, that might be the best couple minutes of the whole movie. You know what I mean?
I mean, there's always
right.
because you hate when you go see that movie and it's like, oh my God, all the best parts. I saw it in the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Based on what I've been reading, based on the people that are behind it, I want to believe so much that this is going to be a good movie. I want to believe so much. I really, really want to. Reading about the directors and how they're staying as true to the source material as they can in the video games. It's kind of like splicing Resident Evil 1 and 2 together, because you're gonna have stuff because you remember 1 was where they were at the house, the mansion, then 2 took place in more of the city around and things like that. So they're kind of splicing the two together, but they're trying to stay as faithful to the material as possible. So I think it's gonna be good. I think it's gonna be good, and I'm not gonna spoil. I'm gonna leave it as a tease. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. One of the stars of that movie will be on this show in the next few weeks. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all. I'm gonna leave it at that. It's a little tease. Fingers crossed. We'll see. We'll see how it works out.
Yeah, I think it's got a lot of potential, and I think that if what we want to happen happens, it's going to be awesome.
Yes, it's going to be awesome.
Yes.
Okay, so that came out. Excited for that. Now, a big event that happened this past weekend was DC's Fandome event. It's where DC, it's like DC's version of the D23 event, the big Disney Marvel event. And they released, a ton of footage, a ton of stuff. It's funny because they did this last year, their first DC Fandom event last year, and a lot of the stuff that they talked about never actually came out. Like, that's when we got the first Batman trailer and, the first announcement of a lot of these movies and stuff. And here we are a year later, and they're still talking about a lot of the stuff, because obviously outside of like Wonder Woman 1984 and Suicide Squad, it wasn't really much out of DC outside the shows. But we are now a lot closer to this stuff, so we actually started getting looks, and they showed some looks behind the scenes for Aquaman, Black Adam, There's a couple other ones that they showed. They showed Shazam, Fury of the Gods. But again, a lot of those projects are so early on that they didn't really have much to put together. But the two big ones that they showed, two big ones that they had more or less footage to show, were these two films. So real quick, I'm going to show you the latest trailer for The Batman. Oh my goodness. I guess so. Whew. I'm right there with you, Captain Wayne. Ah, man, that looks good. That looks good. Oh man, that looks so good. Radar, come on. Wait, come on. That looks good. Tell me it looks good.
I don't know, dude. Make it good.
Make
A malnourished Batman. That's what I was thinking. Like, why is it a poverty Batman too? Like, what's going on with that?
Emancipated? Was it emancipated?
No. It looks like poverty Batman. It's like Bruce Wayne the billionaire with, like, I don't know, a '67 Camaro with some shit welded to it.
So the idea, based on all the background stuff, the idea is that this is Batman, not necessarily his origin, but very early into his career. Like, he's just recently started being Batman. And so the idea, like, so a lot of people, I saw the complaint was like, it's very quick scenes, but like, you can see when he's Bruce Wayne, he seems a bit emo. And that's because at this point, he hasn't really figured out that Bruce Wayne needs to be someone that, differentiates himself from Batman, right? Like, because it's just, he's Batman just with or without the mask. And then he realizes, well, shit, if I keep acting like this, they're going to figure out I'm Batman. So that's when he has to put on the whole Playboy persona. So this is him before he's kind of put on the costume of Bruce Wayne. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's him at night as Batman, and then him as day being all brooding and bitchy and whiny and thinking about being Batman. So, I like the idea. It's Selena Kyle before she's really Catwoman. It's, Oswald Cobblepot before he's really, the Penguin, and then the Riddler doing his shit, whatever. But anyway,
I do. You know what I do? I really did like it about that trailer, and we've kind of, Batman movies have never done this so before, and talked about the Beacon as not necessarily being like a call to Batman, but a warning to the people.
Exactly.
I did like that touch. Like, this is a warning, bitches.
Yeah.
And it's all like rainy and kind of like you could hear you kind of see it sizzling on the fucking spotlight and shit. Like, yeah. I like that. I didn't hate it.
Yeah, yeah. And there's a great panel. I forget what book it was. There's a great panel where at one point Gordon is putting on the light, and somebody, I forget, one of the lieutenants, and she's like, he's not coming. And he goes, most nights I turn it on, he doesn't come. Like, that's the thing. I'm not signaling him. This is just to remind people that he's out there. And so I love that they pulled that. I don't know if it's a direct reference from that book, but I love the idea of, like, because every time we've seen a Batman movie or seen a Batman show, what happens? Gordon turns on the light, boom, Batman's there. And it's like, that's not realistic. And the idea being that, like, yeah, sometimes he'll show up, sometimes he won't. When he needs to be there, he'll be there. Like, he probably has the whole police station bugged at this point. So like, yeah, I mean, he knows. Billionaire. Like, yeah, he knows when he needs to be there.
Thing too, this is what, as we progress, right? As the show, as the universe expands, I'll just fucking text him. You know what I'm saying? What if he's taking
hit him up on his Batman burner?
Yeah, he's fucking, I don't know, playing Candy Crush in the shitter or something. You know what I mean? Just fucking text him. Hey, Bat Dog. Hey, we got, I guess shit went down. All right, tight. I'll be there soon.
I like to think Batman and Gordon are playing Words with Friends, and they're just having these epic, justice, 10 points. Revenge.
Yeah, see, that's what they should do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he can, like, I don't know, throw his rubber suit on and go beat someone up or whatever. I don't
Really
know.
seals in the flavor. Real quick, while
he's in
we
the
were
bathroom and it starts flashing a toilet paper starts flashing a Batman logo. Yes, Jen, that's exactly what I want to see happen. What do they do that make a realistic? Okay, I'm not saying realistic Batman, because you can't. But there's like one of these fucking movies, dude. I kind of feel like, in my opinion, is almost like Ant-Man was the closest to that.
Mm-hmm.
Where it was just kind of like, I don't know, dude's just like some normal ass dude, kind of. You know what I mean? And like shit happens, and it's kind of funny. They can make some, like, I could totally see him like cutting to fucking Ant-Man and he's taking a shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. Getting a text from like the Hulk, hey, come take care of this or whatever. They don't even know who.
Real quick, while we were watching the trailer, Kyle, K-A-L-E, I don't know. Sorry, I pronounced it. Kale said, can you send a link to the footage with the fat electrician guy? So the fat electrician's the guy on TikTok, makes these amazingly funny military themes, and Captain Wade said he should be on the show. We did have him on the show. Now, we didn't have him on the show, but he was on Kaz's show, Friday Night Freedom, a couple weeks back. So definitely go to WTF Nation Radio, the page, and you'll find a couple weeks ago. I want to say it was 2-3 weeks ago.
2-3 weeks ago, yeah, something like that.
2-3 weeks ago. You can go back, Friday Night Freedom.
Yep. Also, though, too, like, just follow him. I mean, if you want more of his content, follow him on
TikTok.
It's TikTok.
Yep.
And
fat electrician.
It will show up.
Yeah, great guy, really funny, great interview. Highly recommend. Go back and watch it. It was fun. I enjoyed it very much.
Guy's funny.
Who else? The other. Okay, one more trailer I'm going to show, just because I don't want to make this a whole clip show. But the other trailer that super excited about, obviously you know that, came, and that was the teaser for The Flash. I'm excited. I'm so excited. I mean, again, things are getting complicated because you have like this Zack Snyderverse, which is still a thing because they did announce that there is going to be a Wonder Woman 3. We know Aquaman 2 is in production. We know Shazam 2 is in production. The Flash is in production. But at the same time, we know that the kind of Justice League universe is over. So what does that mean for all these guys? I don't know. Does it mean that obviously they're doing some type of version of the Flashpoint paradox where he goes back in time, saves his mother's life, and thereby changes everything? That's how he's going to end up in the, I don't know, Michael Keaton universe of Batman. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what the plan is. There's still very precious few details about this. The crazy thing in that trailer, there seemed to be 2 Flashes, because you had our Zack Snyder universe Flash, and then you had another Ezra Miller, but he had like the long hair, like the bob long hair, and he's wearing it's hard to tell, but if you like freeze frame it, because I'm a dork, he's actually, so in the foreground you have our Flash and he's wearing his Flash suit. In the background you had the Supergirl who's there, and then you had another Ezra Miller in what looks like a Flash suit, but when you like freeze frame it and zoom in on it, it's actually the 1989 Batman suit, spray painted red with the gold flash. So it's like that universe's Barry Allen basically took the Batman suit, spray painted it red, gave himself a little lightning bolt, and he's like, I'm the Flash. So I don't know. I don't know how it's going to work. I don't know what the plan is for this. I don't know how it affects the DC universe that they're not building anymore. I don't know. I don't know any of it. We know Ben Affleck's going to be in it as Batman again. I don't know.
But is this where I bitch about DC not having any congruity to what they do?
Sure, absolutely.
I mean, they just don't. Which, okay, kind of reinforces a lot of my points where they're just making movies to make good movies, or trying to make good movies.
Trying.
Some better than others, right?
Trying.
Not necessarily like, okay, if a Marvel film comes out, an new MCU film comes out, you feel compelled to watch it because it may Age of Ultron, for example, not the best movie, not the most critically acclaimed of the group, right? But plays part in Civil War and further forward, right?
Sure.
So you feel compelled to watch it because it's part of the series, kind of, right? DC doesn't have that problem. If a movie sucks, you ain't got to watch it because it doesn't really tie into the others. It doesn't really. There's no.
Yeah. Yeah, because
know what I mean?
you could skip over Wonder Woman 1984 and it does nothing.
It kind of sucked.
Nothing.
I watched that this weekend. By the way, I did finally watch it, and I was like, God, this does kind of suck.
I'm so sorry for your loss.
But I mean, but honestly, like, it's kind of. Is it really a bad thing that they don't have the same MCU kind of feel to it? Because it just kind of, I don't know, they can kind of do what they want.
Yeah.
They don't.
I don't know, man. They tried, obviously, and it was. Some people loved it, some people didn't. I think more than a fair share didn't like it the way they were going with it. But I don't know. I don't know. I think DC, maybe they found their thing. You know, it's just put out stuff. Like, that's just their thing. It's like, you've heard of this character before, right? Here's a movie. You know, like the old way of doing things. You know, because the Marvel way of doing things, I'll admit, it's hard. You know what I mean? Like, for Marvel to put out movies that are constantly forwarding a larger narrative, that are interweaving with all the other movies, like, we love it, but that's extremely hard to do. Like, you have to have a whole department dedicated to just, because think about it, just to make one movie, right? You got the writers, the directors, the producers, the actors, the catering, the stuntmen. Like, you have all this group working on one singular vision of a movie. You need a whole outside team that can see the 40,000-foot view and see how they're all interconnecting and making sure, like, hey, make sure you mention this thing. Hey, make sure you put that thing in there. Make sure you did it, because it has to weave bigger. So that's really hard to do. It's really hard to do.
It's like playing chess with. But the problem with DC at this moment, anyway, is you just gotta fucking reset. That was the cool thing that Marvel was able to do with Iron Man, and they had, it wasn't a constant barrage of new Batmans and new Wonder Womans and new all these things. They just kind of, I'm not gonna say came out of the blue with Iron Man, right? Because there was, you know, the other Hulk movie, and there was some stuff before Iron Man, but really they kind of just started anew with Iron Man and Robert Downey Jr. and then just kind of built it from there.
Yeah.
Right. And they did have a vision. They had okay, this is where I don't know how far that went at first, but it was kind of like, you know, as it built, they kind of said, hey, let's go somewhere with this. Let's make and I don't, you know what I mean? Let's work towards certain things. And they did, and it came out really good. Whereas DC just kind of keeps throwing shit against the wall, and I don't know, what do you do with it? Kind of.
Yeah, it's not an easy conversation, however you slice it. At this point,
they're obviously making money off it, so fuck it, just keep going, I guess.
Yeah,
I'll see you.
I do feel like their movies are, and I gotta say this with I gotta careful how I say this. I feel like the movies are getting better. I mean, obviously, Wonder Woman 1984, it's not a good movie. And I hate to say it, because I'm a fan of Gal Gadot and, you know, Patty Jenkins, who's director. I loved the first one. I thought they hit it right on the nail on the head. Perfect. I mean, the whole ending with Ares, that was kind of a little like over the top, you know, cliche, but whatever. But the majority of the movie was really good. This one was just not good.
No, it
was not good. For a lot of different reasons. And I don't know. Outside of that, though, I do feel like they're trending in the right direction with a lot of these movies. You know, I just hope they keep going and keep getting better. That's all I'm gonna say about that. I'm not gonna.
Like I said, and this is where I come back every fucking time. My retort is make it good.
Yeah.
And like I said, okay. Wonder Woman 1984 or Wonder Woman 84 as a standalone movie versus Ultron, versus Age of Ultron. Just
I mean,
as
that's not even a comparison. It's.
I don't know, is it?
I mean,
I think Marvel as a studio really missed the mark with Ultron.
I
I
do
was
think
not a fan of it.
I do think that was a letdown. I do think it was a below average product, but I still think that's a better movie than Wonder Woman 84. I think there are better moments in that movie comparatively, and I think there's more outstanding. Like the villain is someone you remember. You know, I mean, you don't. Yeah,
but let's be honest. As a villain, Ultron kind of sucked.
In the movie, yes.
I mean, in this movie, in the movie we're talking about, he kind of sucked. He was always he was never the take charge kind of villain.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
He wasn't a big, powerful, scary villain. Really, at no point in the movie was he really that scary.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, compared to Thanos, for example, Thanos was scary, and he won. Thanos had some victories and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Ultron never really had that. He's kind of like, oh, okay, well,
Yeah,
whatever.
he kind of always like
You know what I mean?
sucker punch. He reminds me of the Insurgents. You know, back in the day,
Yeah.
like pop off a couple shots and then just runs off. Pop off a couple shots and runs off. Exactly. Comment from King. All right, I gotta read it. So he says, my dreams are better than Wonder Woman 84. Watching paint dry is better than Wonder Woman 84. All right, fair enough. Obviously, people don't like it. All right, moving on. I want to cover some more topics before we jump to our break. This one stings a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. For me personally, and I'm sure for a lot of you guys, this one stings just a bit. Bring it back there. So I whipped up a little little thing here where I said, okay, let me bring up the current state of Marvel movies. All right, this is as it is / was, because just yesterday, it's like it's the start of the pandemic all over again. We had a bunch of movie dates change, so this is not current as of today. On Monday, Walt Disney Studios announced a shakeup to its upcoming film release schedule. The movies included several forthcoming Marvel Studios releases for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Films that affected stretch into 2023, so include Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, Thor, Love and Thunder, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, The Marvels, Ant-Man the Wasp, Quantumania, and then a bunch of the unnamed films even got bumped a week or two. So just to give you an idea, so what was Doctor Strange should have been, what was it listed as, March of 2022, will now be May of 2022. So you're going back, what, 3 months at a time. Mm-hmm. Thor was moved from May to July. Black Panther from July to November. The Marvels from November to February of 2023. Ant-Man and the Wasp from February to July of 2023. And then all the, untitled projects. 2 were actually removed completely from the schedule. So the one that was July and the one that was October of 2023 completely removed. And then the one that was in November was bumped. So, yes. Yeah. So it's not good, but it's not terrible. So it just means that post Spider-Man, December 2021, this year, we're going to go 5 months without a Marvel cinematic release. Mm-hmm. We're gonna have 5 months between Spider-Man and Doctor Strange coming out in May 6th. So it's a little disappointing. I was excited we were gonna get 4 releases every year. They've now altered the schedule so that it's 3 major releases, and then obviously they're gonna put in those Disney Plus series between the releases. space it out a little bit. Because think about it, it has felt right. Did it like we went into like one Disney Plus series, right at the end of that would be a release. Then right after the release, we'd go into another Disney Plus series. We do that for 6 weeks. Boom, movie release, and it's been like that since WandaVision came out. Right? It was just boom, 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 boom. So now I think I think they're worried maybe that like, okay, we're giving them too much Marvel content, so they're now gonna space it out just a little bit. So, and I mean, for those that are making fun, you know, I live for this stuff.
Okay, but I'm just saying too, like, I've been happy with the new content, and I don't think it's been too much or too little. I think it's kind of been nice to have like a little bit of a break in between things. Whatever, so there's like 2-3 weeks in between Disney Plus releases and stuff. And these are all things too. A lot of these were shot pre-pandemic or at the very beginning of it.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, like Loki was shot half of Loki was shot.
Half. Same with the Falcon and Winter Soldier. It was like half and half. So yeah, and a couple of these haven't, you know, are either just started. So I know like Doctor Strange just finished filming. Thor: Love and Thunder is currently filming, and Wakanda Forever just started filming. So
Guardians of the Galaxy just started too. I saw a thing on like Twitter or some shit where they had like
end of this month. Yeah, they're doing like the pre-production stuff right now. But yeah,
I think pre-production started like yesterday. I think. Or something like that. Dude, I don't know. I got on Twitter. God, I'm so fucking.
No, I'm laughing at Owl's comment. Someone needs to give CQ coloring books. He's going through withdrawals. Listen. Yes, I do. Yes, I am. Yes, I do. But no, I mean, look, and here's the thing. Does it suck that you have to wait longer between Marvel projects? Sure. Is the quality going to change? No. And are there going to be a ton of other, you know, we still got Ghostbusters to look forward to. We've got, you know, some DC projects. Like, there's so much content out there. It's not like we're going to be, you know, lacking.
There's a fair amount of Disney Plus series that are coming. I mean, Hawkeye comes out this month, right? Or November. Yeah. Holiday season. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special coming out this year. Or is that next year?
That's next year. Holiday of next year.
Yeah. So I mean, but there's a whole lineup of Disney Plus shows
Absolutely.
that we're not seeing.
So listen, they haven't announced dates yet, but other than Hawkeye, they've announced. But other shows that are currently filming. Moon Knight is currently filming. Miss Marvel currently filming. She-Hulk currently filming. I feel like I'm missing something, and something else. But like those are 4 or 5 shows that are currently filming for Disney Plus, and that will have impact onto the Marvel schedule. Now, you missed it last week. We talked about they've announced that Catherine Hahn's Agatha Harkness is going to get her own show. So Catherine Hahn is going to have her own Disney Plus show for Agatha Harkness, which I have a feeling will tie into that thread of like what's her name? Contessa Fontaine, the chick play, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Val, yes. She's building like an event, like a Dark Avengers team, and I think Agatha Harkness is gonna be her Scarlet Witch. It's gonna be her witch character. So I think her having her own Disney Plus show can show how she, you know, pivots from where she left off in WandaVision to where she ends up in that super villain team, that Thunderbolts or Dark Avengers, whatever you want to call it. Hey, Kaz, what's up, buddy?
But you look at, okay, you've got Miss Marvel coming up on Disney Plus.
Miss Marvel,
Moon Knight, She-Hulk, What If Season 2, Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, and Secret Invasion, Ironheart, and Armor Wars.
That's the other ones. Those
are all listed for 2022, except for Ironheart and Armor Wars are after 2023.
Yep.
So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 listed in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
on top of the 3 movies, it should have been 4, but now there are 3 movies.
Yeah. So I mean, you still got quite a few. Like, do we dare call them filler material? But I mean, like,
they're not filler. I think they're good. They're good side stories.
I absolutely, and they give more in depth, and they're introducing new characters, right? So I mean, there's it's not a bad thing. They're canon. They're part of the MCU, right?
Yeah.
And they're fitting in nicely. I think they're telling really good stories. But I mean, if you've got, you've got what, six different issues coming there, right?
Yeah.
So if you've got, I mean, you're basically going to have nonstop content coming out just from Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Maybe a week or two in between your episodes, but
And then that's not counting for literally everything else they do, right? They have the Star Wars shows because there's the Mandalorian, there's the Boba Fett show coming out, there's the Ahsoka Tano show coming out, there's the Obi-Wan series coming out, like there's the Bad Bunch, and like there's all these, like there's a ton of Star Wars content, there's a ton of Marvel content. Like Disney Plus pays for itself, man. They just dump out a lot of good content.
absolutely they do. I'm really happy. That's one bill I don't mind paying every month. I wish my kid's orthodontist brought me as much joy as Disney Plus does.
Classic.
But I'm just saying. But back to the thing, right? So if they're down to, they're still kind of averaging really 4 movies a year. Honestly, right?
Well, it was 3, and then for a short period it was 4, but I think they're going back to 3. I think that's the goal.
Three big feature films, right?
Tentpole films, sure.
I mean, okay, like Gareth said, Black Widow wasn't that great. It's debatable. I don't think it was their best.
Yeah, I don't think it was bad. I don't think it was bad,
but it wasn't the best.
Yeah.
I mean, it was. I thought it was going to be better. As much time as they had,
yeah,
I thought it was going to be a little bit better, but it wasn't bad. I wasn't disappointed in paying to see it.
Yeah, like I say, it wasn't a bad movie. For Black Widow, my what hurt me the most was how they did Taskmaster. I think Taskmaster is an incredible villain / anti-hero / mercenary, and they just made it a mute henchman. It's like what they did to Deadpool in the Wolverine movie. Yeah, like, it's just like, ugh, you neutered the character. The character is awesome. You neutered him. Like, if you want to do gender swap, whatever.
You know what I'm really happy with though with that? Didn't kill her. And so she can come back, and I kind of think that's going to be a character they're going to build on a little bit.
Hopefully, I'd hope.
I don't think we've seen the last of Taskmaster.
Yeah, I'd hope to see that. Oh man, her and Yelena like on a secret Avengers team, I think would be a cool tandem.
Yeah.
Anyway, one more quick story before we take a break. Do you remember? Long time ago, and this might be going way back for a lot of you out there, there was one of the first movies to pull from a video game source was Super Mario Brothers. Do you remember that horrible movie?
Yeah, it was gross.
It was so bad. Had John Leguizamo in it and Bob Haskins, which great actors. And man, that was so bad. Such a bad movie.
It was horrible.
So bad. Anyway, the point I mentioned that is because of that movie, like it set back, video game related movies decades. There wasn't another video game tie-in movie for almost decades after that. It was so atrocious. But it has been announced that a Super Mario movie is coming. This is, as far as I can tell, like I have to imagine this is not going to be not live action. Not live action. Let me say that. It's probably CGI. But the voice talent that they're bringing in for it, I got to give them credit, is phenomenal. So here, let's take a look here. I got a little something. So, new Mario movie cast revealed, right? And the movie's coming out December of 2022. So just a little over a year away. But here's the cast. So first we have Chris Pratt playing Mario, which love me some Chris Pratt. I don't know how his Mario impression is going to be. It's a me, Mario. I don't know.
It's a Mario. Yeah.
It's Mario. So yeah. And Arthur, yes, Dexter is coming back. I'm also excited about that. Thank you for bringing that up. We watched the trailer like 2 weeks ago, I think, or 3 weeks ago. And I loved it. So yeah, Chris Pratt as Mario. Anya Taylor-Joy as Princess Peach. Okay. Charlie Day as Luigi. I can see this. I can see Charlie Day as Luigi.
I don't hate it.
That one speaks to me. All right, what else we got? Jack Black as Bowser. I feel like this is like an ad-lib fake like movie, but this is real. This is the real casting for the Super Mario movie. Jack Black as Bowser. All right. Keegan-Michael Key as Toad. Yes, Keegan-Michael Key as Toad. I mean, all I can think of is like his Key and Peele sketches, but
Yeah.
like it's like as Toad. Oh man,
Dude,
That- that's gonna be funny.
that could be funny, especially with Jack Black.
Yep.
Oh God, this
There you go. Seth
Okay.
Rogen as Donkey Kong. I mean, that one I could kind of see it. I could kind of see Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. All right. Now I don't have pictures for, but also announced were Fred Armisen is playing Cranky Kong. Kevin Michael Richardson will play Kamek, and Sebastian Maniscalco. Sebastian Maniscalco will play Spike. So those are like the kids of Bowser. But yeah. So one more time, because Chris Pratt as Mario, Anya Taylor-Joy as Peach, Charlie
You know
Day.
what?
Yep.
Honestly, I think Chris Pratt might be the only one that's off in that list
Right?
for me.
Right? That seems like the out. Now, Chris Pratt, huge star power,
Yeah.
lovable dude. You know, I love Ryan Reynolds, but I wouldn't want to see Ryan Reynolds as Mario. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah. But I mean, I guess I don't know that girl at all playing Princess Peach at all. Charlie Day can be funny.
yeah. Captain
This
Wes.
could be a really funny show.
Captain Wayne said, "I'm not good with names." The guy that played the Penguin in Batman. You're thinking of Danny DeVito. If you're talking about the 1989 or 1990 Batman that played Penguin, that was Danny DeVito. But yeah, Jack Black is Bowser. Keegan-Michael Key is Toad. That's just funny to me. Seth Rogen is Donkey Kong, and yeah, this is gonna be interesting. I mean,
It could be funny, dude. I don't hate the idea. I don't hate the premise.
yeah,
You've got a lot of star power in that, though.
it's a
It could be
stacked
good.
cast.
It is, especially honestly, if it's all animated too,
Yeah.
and they're just doing voiceovers.
Oh yeah.
That could be really good.
Yeah. Yep. I agree with you. I definitely don't want to see that live action. We've seen that atrocity once more than enough. So with that, let's see. Sorry, I'm like reading through my notes. Yeah. So yes, that'll be interesting, guys. We have reached the end of the first hour. I'm gonna take a short break. When we come back, we have a phenomenal guest. Her name is Michelle Danner. She is a world-renowned acting coach, director, producer, actress. Like, she's done it all. Author, won a ton of awards, has just a wealth of knowledge in the acting game, has worked with some of the biggest names in Hollywood. Very excited to talk to her. She's going to tell us all about it and school us up on some acting. And if you guys got questions, please, I love when you guys are obviously always engaged. I love you for it. If you guys have questions for her, please put them in the chats. We'll get to them, all of them. And bear with me as I still feel like I got hit by a bus, and I'm powering through it. But love you guys. We're gonna take a short break. Hey, Radar, say bye, Radar.
Bye, Radar.
All right, guys. We'll see you after the break. Shots.
You're listening to the sounds of WTF Nation Radio. The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Pop Culture Warrior. I am your host, CQ. I'm excited, man. This is gonna be a fun one. I think we got somebody really special for you guys tonight. As always, if you have questions for our guests, please put them in the chats and we'll get to them. So my guest tonight is a film and stage director, an author, and a world-renowned acting coach. She teaches the Golden Box Acting Workshop in South America, Europe, Toronto, Vancouver, Dubai, New York, and Sydney. She's taught acting for the last 27 years and has worked with many of our favorite pop culture actors, both privately and on set, including Chris Rock, Gerard Butler, Seth MacFarlane, Michael Pena, Salma Hayek, Norman Reedus, Zoe Deschanel, Henry Cavill, Michelle Rodriguez, and so many others. It is my absolute pleasure to welcome tonight our guest to the show, Michelle Danner. Ladies and gentlemen, Michelle Danner. Yay! You have to imagine there's just raucous applause and just everyone cheering for you, all right?
Thank you.
Okay, wow. So man, there's so much to cover. So I really did I did a thorough looking into your background and your IMDb page and your wiki page, and watched some interviews with you because I really like to learn as much about my guests as I can to really showcase what and for you, let me tell you, it's a very, very long list. Accomplishments, awards, acting, directing, producing, I mean teaching. It's do you okay, first question, do you ever sleep? I guess is the first question.
Yes, I actually do. I love to sleep. It's really important to sleep. So I try and get in at least 7 hours every night.
Oh my God. I don't know how you find the time. I really don't. So my real first question, as I always do with all my guests, is what is, or do you have a connection to our nation's or any nation's military?
Well, I haven't had anyone in my family that has served. I've certainly known people that have served. I have an enormous respect for anybody that would serve and have a career in the military. I was very sad when Colin Powell, passed away yesterday. He certainly served his country in a huge way, and we're always so grateful for our military because what would we do without them? We need them to keep us safe.
I appreciate that. Yeah, we were saddened by his loss as well. It's I was very lucky to meet him, I think 2 or 3 times in my life, and he's an amazing man. So thank you for that. So in doing a bit of digging about you, I discovered that you've been in or around the entertainment business your whole life. From when you were very, very young. Your father opened the very first William Morris agency in Paris, and you've just kind of always been around celebrity. What was that like for you growing up that way?
Well, I had a wonderful childhood, and also, the tumultuous childhood, both. I grew up in Paris, in France, where in fact, yes, my father was asked by the William Morris Agency to open up the very first offices of the Champs-Élysées. He was the president for many years. So I remember going to work and hiding under his desk and playing, and, tons of celebrities coming in, and also, actors, well-known actors and performers, and, coming to the house for dinner. And I was told that I was very entertaining. I'd do imitations of Ed Sullivan and Alfred Hitchcock and Judy Garland, and I would tap dance on the coffee table when I was 4 years old. So yeah, it was just it was great. But more than that, I mean, I was introduced to culture, to European culture. So I remember so many weekends where we took out of guests, to the Chateau de Versailles, to Versailles, and I would frequent museums all the time, and I would take acting classes, and I would read so many books. I was just a huge avid book reader. So it was great to have that kind of education in Europe, and traveling a lot. I've always traveled a lot of my childhood, and then I went on to travel a lot of my adult life. Traveling has always been, very much in the mix of my life at all different stages. But it started with my childhood, and I think that to grow up in Europe gave me a foundation. Gave me something that that was very artistic, and it certainly, I think I was born with that chip, but it fed and nurtured the artistic part of me to grow up in that way.
Wow, that's amazing. So I'm curious how early was this that you wanted to pursue this? This is something that you were enamored with, and that you decided like, oh, this is what I want to do, acting. Because I know you trained extensively in Paris and in New York. So when did it become like the passion of like, I want to follow this path?
I think that it was in me for like all of my teens. I think there was just no question in my mind that I was going to act. And then when I came to New York and I studied with Stella Adler and Uta Hagen, I was fascinated about the craft of acting. So back then, probably, I soaked in as much as I could, because one day maybe I knew unconsciously that I was going to be a teacher and teach. But I certainly, always wanted to act and express myself emotionally. And then it wasn't until my 30s, until I was in LA, that the natural stepping stone at everything that I was doing led me to directing on stage and directing, in film. And I loved directing because what I understood was that when you direct, you get to sign the painting. And I did like that. I liked being able to, decide what the colors were going to be on the canvas. So thus, my wanting to direct, and it's taken on, something. I directed 5 feature films, and so it went from, acting to teaching to directing. Everything felt like just a natural stepping stone, and a desire to want to raise the bar at every single.
Yeah, that you can. I mean, just from that little snippet, you can see that it was this. It seems that it's this desire to like, okay, this is what I want to do. I've accomplished it. Now, what's that next? What's that bigger goal? That loftier goal? And you've done that. You've kind of always taken that step forward, which is truly inspiring. It's great. And you mentioned that. Or that I read that you directed and acted in over 30 plays and musicals, and in New York, in Los Angeles, Tennessee Williams, The Rose Tattoo, yeah, and everything that I dug up on you, it's like, won this award for best directing and won this award for this and that. Like, is it hard when everything you do seems to get all this praise and adulation and recognition? Is that a lot of pressure?
No, oh, no. I mean, this last movie that I did won lots of awards. We were just a few weeks ago at in Catalina, the Catalina Film Festival, and I won for Best Director. But I have to say, the moment more was me looking in the faces of my children who were with me, and they were, so happy for me, and they were, probably happier for me than I was. And when my children win, I'm, I feel like I'm happier for them. Um, but and then we won for the best jury for best movie um, at the Chinese Theater as part of this Silicon Film Festival. That was like 2 weeks ago. So it does, it's funny you should say that because I've actually thought to myself, how does it feel to win? And also by the same token, how does it feel to lose? I've lost a lot. There's a lot of no's in this business. Show business goes with lots and lots of no's and lots of rejections. And I've just come to a place where I'm just very zen about both. I am like, if somebody says no, okay, fine, we didn't get into that festival or we didn't get that, and if I win, I'm like, okay, great, we won. I never want to go too high in either direction. I just say very even keel on both. But I mean, just to sum it up, however, it does feel better to win. Sure. I have to say, it just feels better, but you probably learn more from losing.
I'm gonna take those words. So we've actually been nominated twice for Best in Entertainment Podcast. Now we've lost both times, but I want to say that it gives me a bit of a drive. Like, okay, we got close, but we gotta try harder. We gotta rededicate yourself and grind harder to accomplish it. So I like that.
It makes you, when you don't get it, it makes you want to expand the goalposts and aim higher and push more. And,
absolutely,
it's okay. Either works. Either is a learning experience.
I do have a good friend of mine who she is early in her career, but she's written plays and she's produced some plays and actually just had one of her plays in a film, or I don't know, it's not a film festival, it's a play festival, I don't know, in New York, but they got on Broadway for 2 days or 3 days. And so I'm curious, what advice do you have for people in that at that point in their careers where they're maybe, the love of it is taking them to a point where it's starting to gain traction and it's starting to get noticed? I mean, what's advice for someone in that position?
Well, just to keep being creative, to keep creating content. If it's playwriting, I mean, I love the theater. I come from the theater. There's nothing that brings me greater joy. Well, I shouldn't say that because obviously I love movies as well. But the theater brings me lots and lots of joy. And I can't even tell you how thrilled I am to go to New York and be able to go to see Broadway shows and off-Broadway shows and off-Broadway when I go to New York for the holidays. But I think that it's, continue to write, continue to submit. Festivals are a great place, whether they're play festivals, screenplay festivals, film festivals, to show your work. All the film festivals that we get into with my latest movie, I've made connections, I've met people, I've had great conversations. These festivals are really wonderful to connect with people and to, just keep expanding the classroom of people getting to know you and getting to know your work, what it is through, reading. So I would just say keep writing. Don't stop writing, keep writing and keep submitting your material and keep looking for representation that can help you to get your material in good hands so people can, fall in love. It's always like that. I'm working on a film right now. And the writer had some really good traction. Studios were interested in making the movie, but it never happened. It never got to the finish line. And so, this idea of getting to the finish line, really pushing to get your work to advance and to be seen, because ultimately that's what every artist longs for, whether you're a writer, you're a director, or you're an actor, you just want the work to be seen. You want people to hear the words. You want people to be moved by, or be in some way by what the story you're telling, storytelling. And, you just have to keep telling stories, whatever medium they're in.
Yeah, and it sounds like a big part of that too is networking. Like you were saying that, putting your stuff out there, but so that the right people can see it and that you can make those connections. I know I've spoken with so many actors and voice actors and a few different directors, and it blows my mind how much it always kind of comes back to networking, and that, go ahead.
It does. I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt you. It does. However, I have to tell you, I don't love that word networking. I don't like it. It just seems to me, I don't know, maybe a little cold and callous and calculating and business-like. And I think that, the key is to connect with people and not off the bat find out, who you are and what can you do for me and, how can I network with you? I mean, I think it's a huge turnoff. I think it's just, getting to know someone and seeing if they're an artist, a kindred spirit. You can have a conversation about art, about whatever, literature, politics, and then see where it goes from there. Because I think if there's this networking, to me feels like there's a calculation in the back of one's mind of what someone can do for you.
Sure.
And I really think that it's not about that. I think it's always about what you can contribute. What can you give? What can you add to this business that is show business?
Yeah. So okay. So instead of networking, let's say it's about building relationships. It's about connecting with people in the field.
Finding out who people are, and exactly.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
Create unity around you.
Yeah, absolutely. You're so right. So at this point, you've done it all, because you've acted, you've produced, you've directed, you've been in plays, you've been in movies. Is there anything? I'm curious. Is there anything you haven't done that you still want to get done?
There's tons of things that I haven't done. I mean, so many things. I'm not that old. I still have a good 20 years
Of course.
of things that I want to do. I have 2 movies I'm working on. They're comedies. I think they're perfect movies for what's happening right now, after COVID. One is called The Italians, and people are going to want to eat lots of Italian food after they see it. It's a wonderful comedy. And the other one is, we're working on the title right now. It's probably going to be called Love in Retrograde. It's a rom-com. It's lots of fun. So, I'm challenged by those 2 things. And I have a period piece that I'm developing. And I have a son that goes to USC who's writing many screenplays. And I have a feeling that, the next decade we'll be making some of those stories. So there's so many things. I am so, even though I've been around for a while, and like you said, and I've done a lot, and I have done a lot. There's more to do. I'm so glad that every morning I get up with the desire to expand and the desire, when you have that chip, I talk about it always with, my students, which is drive. When you have drive, and not everybody has it, but I was born with it, I wasn't given anything. I am completely self-made. And my kids, what I love about them is they don't want to be handed anything either. They want to be self-made as well. They want to, everything that they want to create it solely on their own. But I think when you, and I'm not saying that people that haven't been handed things don't have drive, because of course, many do, and some don't. But when you have a desire to grow as a person, to grow as an artist, there's always something else to do. There's always the next step to take. And I'm so glad that I have, that will in me to do that.
That's beautiful. And I'm blown away too, because, like you were just talking about the 2 comedies that are in progress. I know in 2011 you did Hello Herman, which was starring Norman Reedus. You've done kind of
that was not a comedy.
That was not a comedy. That's right. That's leading to my point, is that you've done this wide gambit of different things, because you did the family movie, you did The Bandit Hound, which was the family movie, you did the horror thriller, which was Bad Impulse. So like you've done all these different genres, and it's so easy. Like when you think of like, a Quentin Tarantino, and like that's a very stylistic one way of doing things, or certain other directors or certain other actors. When I'm looking through your work, I'm like, wow, I can't pigeonhole you into any one category. it's scattershot. You're all over the place, and I mean that in the best way possible. Was that a conscious decision that you're like, okay, I've done this, now I got to go way over here and do this? Was that a conscious decision?
Well, I think that, I didn't go to film school. So I didn't get to go to USC Film School. I'm vicariously living, through my son. Um, I would have liked to go if I had, maybe had a different mentorship when I was young. I would have. So I think that my desire to tackle different genres comes from that. It comes from wanting to understand how to do a horror. It's so funny because when we did Bad Impulse and we had a big Q&A with an audience at the premiere, people said, God, at the beginning starts with a very violent scene. We don't see you directing something like that. And I'm like, yeah, I surprised myself because I really don't love to watch violence. But I did that. I wanted to, stretch. And Ang Lee is one of my very favorite directors. I've always admired him. And I've always admired him because he always tackled different genres. And I remember we were actually at the Cannes Film Festival where we showed out of competition a movie, the one with Norman Reedus, Hello Herman. And we were at this hotel, Martinez, I think. And Ang Lee was there having breakfast. And so I was there with my son. At the time, that was the year that The Life of Pi had come out. And my son at the time, who was 9 years old, went up to him and started to tell him why he loved The Life of Pi. And they had a 45-minute conversation about it. My son was so specific about why he loved it. And I got to exchange a few words with him because, he is one of my, idols. Because you can't, his genres are all over, he directs all different genres. But one of the things that you could say about me and my directing style is that I'm all about performances. So across the board in my movies, everybody always says, but performances are great. And I'm like, well, yeah, thank God that I would know how to do that. But I never take it for granted, though. I never take it for granted that I know how to direct actors. But I think I'm more performance oriented than I am and more story oriented. But yeah, I mean, I wanted to, I was intrigued by tackling different genres. The psychological thriller, I mean, this last one, The Runner, is an action thriller that I conceived. I wrote the treatment one night after watching a news report. So I am fascinated. The only genres that I don't see myself ever directing would be Westerns, although occasionally I like to watch, a few, and science fiction. Mostly I would see myself continuing to direct, action thrillers, psychological thrillers, and comedies.
That's fantastic. Would you ever do? Obviously, I mean, you can see my background. I'm a big nerd. Would you ever be considered to do like a superhero? Maybe not one of the big top tier ones, but maybe something small you can have some fun with.
Yeah, of course. I mean, again, I'm all for challenging myself. And on that note of science fiction, I was offered to direct a short that I'm going to direct. That's a science fiction short, which I found very intriguing. It was very prophetic in terms of what happened with us with this virus. I love to challenge myself. I mean, I do. I love to tackle something that's hard and see if I can do it.
That's awesome. It's like learning a new tool and learning a new skill, and you're putting it in the toolbox, something you can use later on. So you're also, I know I read somewhere that you're putting the finishing touches on an acting book, The Golden Box.
Yeah, I keep sidetrack because I keep going. Okay, we're starting pre-production on this, or we're doing, we're starting on this. So I do have it. I have the book. I remember, I studied with Uta Hagen, and she wrote a couple of books. And the first one she wrote was Respect for the Actor. And then years later, she wrote Challenge for the Actor. And I remember she told all the actors, don't read my earlier book because I've revised my thinking. I've always remembered that she said that, and that stayed with me. And maybe that's why I'm not ready yet. I'm just not ready. I think I want it to be the most complete, the most revised thinking, the most evolved that it can be. So I don't go back and do, second edition. I want to be able to nail it the first go around.
Right.
So I just, I think that at this point, since I'm about to start pre-production, I think it's going to be next year. But the good news is that when it does come out, it'll be really complete.
I can't wait to get my hands on it. I'm gonna gobble it up. I love, I'm a guy that's on the outside. I did a little theater in high school, and little things like that. But I enjoy the work. I'm the guy that watches the movie and then watches the director's commentary on the movie and the behind the scenes in the movie, because I'm fascinated by all the work, because I know it's a tremendous amount of work that goes on behind the scenes that as the average viewer you don't get to see. Like you said, it's if the actors are the paint, we don't see the painter, we don't see the paintbrush, we don't see the easel and all these things that go behind the work to it. So it's always fun to watch.
I think these directors' commentaries are just, they're gifts to us. For instance, I was a few months back, I was listening to Damon Chazelle and the director's commentary of Whiplash. And there are all these kernels of gold and wisdom, and you learn from them. So I think those are really great. And you learn from, all these interviews and podcasts and artists talking about process and how they work. And, I am a very big proponent of every artist creating for themselves the golden box. That's what I've named my master class that I teach all over the world. And, in that not only do you put tools, technical tools that help you to create characters and break down scripts and perform, but also, and add the lessons that you learn when you're actually working on set and working on stage, but also, those little kernels that you hear, an interview that you read, a director's commentary. I used to love it. I mean, they still have it. The Criterion Collection had all those commentaries, and those are very important for actors to listen to. So that's great that you're doing that.
Oh, I mean, I wouldn't have it any other way. I'm I may be the weird guy that does that. I don't know a lot of people that sit there and watch the same thing over and over. But I like you. I like to study and to learn and to know all the nuance of the process of making the film. So I'm very excited for that kind of stuff.
Important. When I was younger, I had a defense mechanism where I never, ever wanted to watch anything over and over again. And I think that was not my best friend. I've said this to my children. I think the part of you that wants to watch things over and over again is the part of you that's capable of going deeper in your work. And I'll tell you, everybody that I know longs to go deeper inside of themselves and their work. So I think, kudos to you that you understood that and you understand it.
No, I appreciate it. Once again, guys in the chats, if you have questions for Michelle, please write them in. I will ask them of her. I do have one question coming in from the chat. It says, as a newbie, so this is a person who he's doing like background extra kind of work, but he wants to take that next step. So he says, as a newbie to the craft, what's a place I can go or a thing I can do to hone the craft of acting?
I would say read a lot. I would say watch a lot. And I would say take a really good acting class. And if you can afford to, create a program for yourself. Take many classes where you can grow artistically, work on your voice, work on your speech, work on dialects, work on great material. That's what really ultimately makes you grow as an artist, is to put through you great writing and find out what that is. Explore different writers, classical writers, contemporary writers. Write yourself. Sometimes, in life, somebody will, just go off on something and you go, that's a great monologue. You should sit down and write that down or record it. Actors many times find out that they can really write.
That's
fantastic. It's a lot to do that. It's a lot to, and especially now, I think the last decade, that golden age of television shows has expanded and there's just so much to see. You thought with COVID, there was going to be some sort of a drought, but as we found out, there's no drought at all. It keeps coming and it keeps coming and there's just, you can't keep up and there's just so much and you have to go back and look at old movies and, and there's this show on HBO, Scenes with from a marriage that's inspired from the Ingrid Bergman earlier, Scenes from a Marriage with Liv Ullmann, and this one is with Jessica Chastain and Oscar Isaacs, and that's some wonderful acting. I don't know if you've seen it. Yeah. So, a little depressing, but fun, because when you see great acting, even if it's, heavy drama, it's fun to see, great actors play that tennis with each other. So I think this idea of watching a lot is really, really important. The idea of reading a lot is really important. That makes you grow as an actor, that enhances your imagination. And that's one of my greatest frustrations in my life right now, is I never have enough time to read everything that I want to read, because I'm always like, my kids, I always tell my students, you have to really know that these are your golden years as you're developing your golden toolbox, because once you have kids, you're fucked, but in a wonderful way, because, your time, do you have kids?
I do. I totally get it.
It's like, that's it. There's just, then I looked at that book yesterday. I'm like, God, I can't get to that book. I just can't get there because, between one thing and the other, then you're tired and you want to go to sleep, and the day starts all over again. But so enjoy those times when you don't have kids yet. I mean, I remember, so distinctly, when I taught a class that ended at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Friday. And at the time, our studio was on the 3rd Street Promenade in Santa Monica. And I would come out on the 3rd Street and I would go, I am free. And I would go watch a movie at 4, at 6, at 8, at 10. I literally took 4 features in a row. But I knew back then that was a special time, that I needed to cherish that time. Because let me tell you, I don't think I've been able to watch not even 2 movies or an entirety of 1 movie since those days.
Oh, it's so true. So true. I have a question. So I started doing stand-up comedy and in that writing and performing, and something I learned because I loved comedy. I loved watching stand-up performances, but once I started doing it myself, it became harder to enjoy comedy because now I was being super critical of it. I was I knew how the sausage was made, so to speak, right? And so I would listen to people and I'd be not judging them, but like, oh, I see what he did there, and I'm thinking, oh, he should have used this word instead. So I'm curious, as a watcher of movies, being a director, being an acting coach, does that change how you absorb that content?
Yes, but I watch in a very relaxed way. I mean, I always say, once you have the knowledge, certainly you can watch and all of the lights ignite in you. You can watch like the moment before, are they hitting this? Are they doing the physicality? Do they have that point of view? Are they playing that intention? What's the relation? You have all the zillion questions that you can ask yourself. But I try and watch, in a relaxed way, and then I go back and I watch it again and I study it more. But I think that when you watch a lot, that it's ingrained in you to watch it in a certain way that is, it doesn't have to be like, oh, I see, I just watch. I've developed a way of watching that is enjoyable, because if not, then I would be watching so many things and feel like I'm working, and I don't want that. I want to be able to have fun while I'm watching.
Yeah, the ability to turn it off, that is crucial. That is a crucial key, because I tend to be always in my own head of like, oh, why'd they do it that way? How it could have been done differently, or how that's good. I'm curious. So you've been doing this, I'm not trying to age you, but you've been doing it a long time. You've been involved since you were very young, not that long ago. And how have you seen content change? So you've done theater, you've done movies, you've done directing, you've done teaching. That puts you in a unique position that you've seen it from multiple angles. And as you know, like with technology changing, with social media changing, with the internet, how have you seen content both being made and also, being viewed? How does that content change?
Well, I mean, I think that certainly I've seen the birth and the continuation of reality shows. I particularly myself could never get interested in not even one reality shows. But, occasionally I'll watch little snippets of this or little snippets of that, but I mean, that just doesn't interest me whatsoever. And so we know that for a while that took away from, scripted shows because people were just, all about reality shows, right? But how I think it affected acting is that, people just wanted, to be more voyeurs. They wanted it to be more real. I remember I saw a show in New York called Sleep No More that took place in an old hotel, and it had like 8 different floors. I don't know if you've heard of that show.
Yeah.
And it was very voyeuristic. You would basically check in, you leave your phone at the door with your coat. They would give you a mask, and so you'd have a mask and you'd have a couple of drinks. Then you would go from floor to floor. So I think that, on stage, I think people have been more, looking for more truth, more reality, whether it be through, like I said, reality shows or improvisational shows or, but I think that, everybody has like raised the bar. I mean, I think there's so much great stuff to watch. And then there's stuff that's okay. And then there's stuff that just, blows you away. I mean, Queen's Gambit was pretty great. Right? I mean, there's tons of things. I mean, there's Schitt's Creek and there's The Crown, of course. And, I mean, like creme de la creme tends to rise to the top, especially in, award season. You see what you should watch. But then there's some things that are political. There's some shows that end up winning or being nominated, and you go, oh, really? And it has to do with all kinds of different things. But I think to me, I mean, like what I was saying before, I mean, the big thing that has happened is, how House of Cards redefined how we all watched and binged shows. I mean, how we binge things. It's just crazy. And there's so much content. And when you're done watching, if you're ever done watching things in the United States, then you can go to the UK and you can go to, Australia, and you can go everywhere in the world that are making these shows.
Yeah.
And they do them in a way that makes you want to binge them. My sister was telling me she was watching, I think, something of 5 Juanitas until 6 o'clock in the morning. She couldn't stop. And my 2 other sisters were watching The Serpent on Netflix, and they couldn't stop. And, they make it in a way that it's addictive. And I'm watching, my dance card is very filled here in my house because I have a show with every different person. So with my son today, we're watching the last episode of the Umbrella Academy with my 12-year-old son. With my 19-year-old son, I'm watching Channel Zero. I don't know if you've heard of that. That's like a horror thing. You've seen it?
Mm-hmm.
That is freaking gruesome if I've ever seen it. I'm like, oh my God. But what's great is that I never watched this stuff. Like I would never watch Channel Zero. I would never watch the Umbrella Academy. I don't think that I would. And I would never watch the show The 100 that I watched. I would never watch that either. But I mean, my children are very, okay, you're ready, let's go. I mean, they have me on a schedule. So I have to watch everything with them. But it's made me a better artist to watch things that I normally would never watch in a million years.
Yeah. I've been set in my ways for a long time. I love the things I love, but like my wife would challenge me to like, oh, let's watch this show. It's a true story about this thing, and like, that doesn't. But then you get caught up and you're like, oh wow, this is inspiring. This is challenging. These are things I didn't know about myself. I'm learning about myself. So that's very cool. I did get a comment too that someone says I've already bookmarked her page, the school page already. So they're going to be following up. But which is a good point. I have it up here and I'm looking at it. It's michelledanner.com and it's your acting school. Can you tell us a little bit about it? I want people to know about it.
We're actually in a great place right now because we moved. We were in Santa Monica, and we found a new location by Sony Studios in Culver City. And so we have the Michelle Danner Acting Studio and the Los Angeles Acting Conservatory that creates customized conservatory programs for our students. And they're making the signs as we speak. So these 2 signs are these golden signs which match the brand on the website. And then tomorrow I have this wonderful mural artist who's coming to do a quote that everybody will see when they drive down Washington, which a lot of people drive, which is, you can't spell heart without art. And it's going to be in red, And so, we're really excited about this new place. It's very intimate. We have our own courtyard. We've put sails and lights, and we just, have attracted a wonderful faculty of teachers. So, we have some really extraordinary classes. Our students are so happy with their programs. They grow, they go out into the world, they book work. I mean, a big success story is that I had in my scene study class this actor who blew me away. One night, all the lights went out on Main Street, and I had everybody hold up their phone. There were 3 scenes left, and he, I was writing this screenplay, The Runner, with this wonderful writer, and Jason Chase Terrell, and I asked him to read it, and he loved it. And we shot it. We shot it right before the lockdown, right before COVID. We just got into the door as the elevator closed. And then I very quietly and calmly edited during this whole entire, stay at home. And coincidentally, it's the one that's gotten me like the most awards and the most recognition, so far. And the success story is that Cameron Douglas is a wonderful actor, and his dad, Michael, came to see it with the head of a big agency. And they loved the performance of this lead actor that was my student. They signed him. And this summer, he was on set with Ridley Scott doing a scene opposite Lady Gaga. So that's a wonderful success story. And my students come on set, and, I allocate different parts for them to play. It so happened that in this movie, The Runner, I had like all these big party scenes. And our students are just really happy because, not only do they come and they learn in classes, but they also get hands-on experience by going on set. And very few people do that, So we're able to bring that together. And we also have a film festival called Cinema at the Edge, where our students make movies and are shown. So, it's a wonderful, amalgamation and growth for everybody. And I'm very happy with the school. I think we have a really wonderful, warm, intimate school, and people learn a lot. And the proof is in the pudding, because people go out there and they book jobs.
Sure. Yeah, that's the idea of teaching, right? Is to prepare them and to send them off. I always think it's like, being a parent, right? If you do a good job, then the little bird, it flies away, it leaves the nest, it goes on.
I hate to drop names, and I never do. And everybody else asks me, who do you work with? I mean, I work with tons of people, but one of the leads in the Umbrella Academy was a student for over a year. And I'll see so many shows and so many movies where I go, oh, look, there they are. And, it's great. That's the part of teaching that also happens to be very fulfilling.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think, you can't be a good teacher not wanting success for your students. I think that's, you're not in the right line of work if you're going to get mad that they go out and be successful, because that's partly you, like I said, like being a good parent. Something in your teaching that I found unique was you talked about it, that golden box, and how every student's not specifically taught the same way. It's customized to what's best for them. Can you explain that a little bit? Because I find that so fascinating.
Yeah, because, this idea, I've always ran away from dogma. When people taught acting, I was in New York, and, of course, Stella was very dogmatic, but she was wonderful. But you say, this is the only way to do it. I've always rebelled against that idea. And even as I was looking for schools for my kids, I wanted schools that were very progressive, and not like, dated thinking. And so the progressive part of this is to understand that it's not everybody come to the middle and be the same, this herd mentality that everybody is absolutely unique. It's more work for a school to think that way. But if, you really get to customize a program, I mean, this class might be a good fit for this student, but not a good fit for them at that moment. That's the other art of customizing the program. If they're here for 2 years, this year it behooves you to study this before you study this. I mean, a lot of students, they want it fast. They want the school of McDonald's, they want it quick, Burger King. And, it's like, okay, how do I go on an audition? How do I book a job? But you're not ready to book a job yet. I mean, if you were a surgeon, I would not want you to operate on me because you didn't go and learn the skills. I want you to go learn it. And if you were a lawyer, I certainly don't want you to, represent me. Or if you were an accountant, I don't want you to do my books. If you don't understand that there is a craft that needs to be learned. And so, they really have the patience. That's part of, obviously, our youth. And it's like you want it fast and you want it quick and you want to move and, but you really have patience. The two programs that are the wonderful programs in the United States, there's many programs, but there's Juilliard and Yale School of Drama, and they require so many hours that you have to put in to grow, as an artist. And if people can understand that, that's our job through our programs to, understand that everybody's unique and enlighten everyone. Everyone's different.
Now that's it. In the military, we had a saying. It was crawl, walk, run. Right. That's how you had to learn. You had to one stage at a time. You had to crawl through it. You had to walk through it. Then you could run through it. So this idea that everybody wants to okay, I signed up for a class, so that means I'm in the next big Marvel movie, right? So it's not how it works. I'm curious. Do you get a lot of people that they sign up for the class and then they're like, okay, so you're gonna get me a job, right?
Yes, I think people don't understand how it goes, that they have to first nurture their talent. And that the world of casting people is actually quite small in a way. And people remember you because they have computers. It wasn't like 20 years ago. They actually can look you up and go, oh, they were too green. No, I'm not going to see them again. Let them send a demo reel. Or let them send the scene on tape or something. That people, that you only have one chance. It's like when you write a script. I mean, I see so many scripts that have typos and, just have 20 people read your script if need be. So there's not a single typo in that script. Because the moment that you see that, and people can read right through it when people are just not trained. And that's why, the Brits always wipe the floor with the American actors in a way, because they come from this incredible training. Mm. And American actors are looking for, like I said, the shortcut, the school.
Okay. We're coming to the last few minutes here. So one last question for you. And this is so that the audience, for those that are watching, some people think, oh, if I didn't start when I was in preschool and I didn't start acting, then it's too late for me. Is there ever an age where it's too late to get into that field?
See, I don't think so. I think that as long as you have a desire in you, look at Nomadland, the movie that won the Oscar this year. There were some wonderful performances of people that were not actors, but I'm sure they were stoked to watch themselves on the big screen. And, it was the right movie for our times. I think that if you have a desire to be creative, you should not let age hold you back. I mean, if I had a nickel for every time that I had someone say to me, I'm 21, am I too old? I'm 23, am I too old? I'm like, oh, no, you're not old. I mean, that's right. You're right. People feel like if they're not in diapers, they're too old. Right. No, I don't think so. I mean, and then, there's people that act for a long time, like J.K. Simmons, and he wins an Oscar, at 50 something, or Christoph Waltz, or, who was it that won an Oscar and said Overnight or something?
Yeah, no, I think of guys like, Samuel Jackson, Morgan Freeman, Michael Caine, who got into the game, later in life and have had, much success in their careers, and no matter what age they started. But excellent. Let me ask you, before we let you go, is there anything you have coming up that you'd like to promote, and where can people, show support, follow you, and get involved with you?
Well, I have the movie The Runner that is concluding its festival circuit, and will be out, I believe, at the beginning of next year. And I am directing a play, a wonderful play with the extraordinary Anne Archer, called The Ticket to the Circuits. It's the John Buffalo Mailer's mom, Norris Church Mailer, wife of Norman Mailer, wrote a memoir, Ticket to the Circus, that was adapted by Bonnie Culver into a wonderful one-woman show. So I've been working on that, and we're going to do it as virtual theater first, and then we'll do it live next year. Um, and then I'm working on these two comedies, that I'm going to start pre-production on. So yeah, my plate is quite full.
Excellent. And where can people follow you on social media and website, just so that people know where to support you?
Yep. There's the MichelleDannerActingStudio.com, the Los Angeles Acting Conservatory, and Instagram, Michelle Danner LA. I think if you just Google Michelle Danner, you find it.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, we're gonna say goodbye to Michelle. This has been an absolute fun conversation. Thank you so much for taking the time with us. I'll let you say goodbye to the audience, and then we'll toss to a break.
Thank you so much. Bye, everybody. Thank you.
All right, guys, we'll be right back.
You're listening to the sounds of WTF Nation Radio.
Hey, everybody, we are back. And with me, as always, is my very faithful companion, my sidekick, Mr. Radar. Welcome back.
What's up, man?
Say hi, Radar.
Hi, Radar.
It never gets old for me. Never gets old. What'd you think of our chat with Miss Michelle?
Dude, that was great. I loved it. I did. I actually did. And I guess I really enjoy when we have people from like different aspects of the film industry, right? It's like we talk to famous actors and actresses, and just like we talk to like stunt people and like acting coaches, things. It kind of brings it envelops it more. It shows more like of the whole industry rather than just like everyone knows an actor, right? If we had Chris Pratt on, everyone's gonna know who Chris Pratt is.
Sure.
Right? But he didn't get there all by himself. Right? He's got trainers and coaches and voice coaches and all of these things that helped him get to where he is. So it's neat to see that kind of stuff. Like she worked with Norman Reedus. Norman Reedus is cool as fuck. So to see that and like, oh yeah, I helped him do this. And so it's fun to me. I like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you wholeheartedly. I love seeing the different. It's very fascinating to me to see all the different, because like you said, we see, and man, I know I have a bad habit of starting a sentence and then stopping halfway through and going on to another sentence. A buddy of mine always calls me on it. But she talked about that the director is the artist in the sense that they sign the project. But like if you think of it, then the actors are the paint, right? That they're the what's filling the scene, the canvas being the set piece, but then there's all these other things that you never see. You don't see the easel that it's sitting on. Right. You don't see the studio that it was made in, right? You didn't see the life of all of it. And like that's the movie industry. You see that final product. You see it hanging in the museum, but you don't see all the work that went in to make it happen.
And you think, okay, like me as an outsider, right? And I understand there's CGI people and there's sound guys, there's editors and all this stuff. I understand but I don't ever think of like, God, this dude was just Chris Pratt, just a dude. And all of a sudden it's like, hey, he got acting, he got coaching, and he got voice coaching, and he got all these things that like made him into this quote unquote superstar he is now. And but like I said, even when you look at a film, you watch a film, you know that there's people who painted the sets and people who did, sound editing and stuff like that. But there's so much more to it. It's just like, they said the easel is so big that holds this print, and it's cool. Yeah. And it's neat that, we get to talk to these people. We talk to set designers and costume people and stuff. It's cool.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. I'm thinking of trying to cast a bigger net for our conversation. So like maybe getting in people who do the editing for these movies, right? How do you take 15 hours of footage and cut it down to a 90-minute movie? Getting
or
in
more even, because some of these they're on set for months.
Yeah.
For some of these films,
hundreds of hours.
Yeah, some of them, dozens of takes for the same thing. And how do you determine? And I know the director, everyone's got a part to play.
Yeah.
But we don't see, even when we see the finished product, we don't see even a sliver of the fruit of the labor of everybody.
Yeah.
There's so much more there, and it's cool.
Jen in the comments, she says that's what I love, the editing. Exactly. You think when they film a scene, especially like a big action scene, there might be 7 different cameras recording the same scene from 7 different angles, and it's like, okay, the editor has to now take all that and put it together in a way that makes sense and that stimulates the right parts of your brain or whatever. I want to bring in some editors. I want to bring in, what about musical composers, right? You take a scene, like you take the trailer, the Batman trailer that we watched earlier, amazing trailer. Take the music out. How do you feel when it's just thing after thing after thing, but no, you don't get that feeling inside of you. That's that excitement, that joy, that sense of doom, whatever it is that the music brings to you. It sets the scene. It's I've heard someone refer to it as like it's the actor that you don't see is the music, right? Yes. They're the person in the scene that you don't see. Gives you that feeling. What's a scary movie without the suspense, that like that heightening, and whatever. So yeah, I think I'd love to bring in some people like that do composing, that do editing, screenwriters. What about the people that write the script before it's ever even attached to a director or to a cast? You know what I mean? Like and then how do they feel when actors ad-lib off their material or directors change what they wrote? Like there's so many questions, so many questions. Yeah, I'm excited. There's so much we get to talk about, but that being said, and you brought up a good point about the stunt people too, because I have a good one coming. I have a good one.
Oh,
like
we just talked to a stunt woman not too long ago,
right? We did Michelle Smith.
Yep,
Michelle C. Smith. Yep, and yeah, I have a guy who's like.
Oh, of course, CQ's got a guy.
I got a guy. What can I say? I got a guy.
He's got a guy.
But he's like the creme de la creme of Hollywood stuntmen. He's a guy who has stunt doubled for Thor and Captain America and Deadpool and a bunch of, James Bond. Like just a bunch of huge action set pieces that you've seen him more than you realize you've seen him, basically, a lot more. And so he'll be coming on the show. We're conversating back and forth about availability. He's currently in Australia filming something with a certain someone, and we can't talk about it. But
ooh, I like not talking about it.
I like it when we don't talk about it. So he'll be on the show soon. But I do have one more thing, and
oh no, I love that noise.
You know what that sound means? That's right.
We got some gangs.
That means we got some things to talk about. I'm gonna switch us over to WTF News, and it's just like WTF, man. Or I know, you love talking about Tiger King, right? I mean, that I know that you love talking about it. So, with that being said, I've got some pictures to show you. The first of being this one. Does this look like somebody that you know?
Oh, she looks familiar.
That is Kate McKinnon, who is going to be portraying that fucking bitch Carol Baskin. All right?
Carol Baskin.
because filming is underway on Peacock's dramatic retelling of the life and times of a Mr. Joe Exotic. And these are some of the first snapshots of Kate McKinnon playing Carol Baskin. The paparazzi managed to get actually quite a few snapshots of her as the enigmatic big cat activist. And some shots even included, let's see if I can find this one. Here we go. Even included Kyle MacLachlan. I can never put MacLachlan. Anyway, he's playing Howard Baskin. Famous actor, has been in a bunch of different things. But there you go. There is our Carol and Howard Baskin for the Peacock dramatic retelling, the Joe Exotic series coming later this year.
I love it. I think they did amazing casting her in that position.
It's a funny thing.
In that role.
It's a funny thing. And would you like to know what Carol Baskin herself thinks?
What did she say?
Earlier this year, when Carol Baskin was asked about Kate McKinnon being chosen to play her, she says, "I'm honored that they would pick someone so beautiful and so talented, but they're going to have a lot of work and have to put a lot of makeup on that young woman to make her look like a 60-year-old lady." That was what Carol Baskin, I mean, she's got a sense of humor about it, so that's good. The only thing Baskin hoped for, she said, was a more faithful telling of what actually went on. Because according to her, the Netflix docuseries didn't tell both sides of the story. I'm happy I'm happy about the fact that everything that I've read so far says that they're going to follow the same narratives that was in the Wondery podcast, because in the Wondery podcast at the end they said, here's the truth. They actually felt the truth, whereas Tiger King just never got to that part. So for those that don't know, the Wondery podcast did like the whole series, whereas the Netflix docuseries kind of captured just the crazy moments. So she felt that, her side was never done justice. So she says that, so I'm hoping that with this, that will be the case, that they'll tell both sides of the story and not just the more exaggerated, crazy stuff.
Well, I'm excited for it. I think that's a really, really, really good casting on that end, because she does not look like her. Let's be honest. Like, look at that picture. Like, it looks like Carol. It looks like a hotter version of Carol Baskin.
I'm so sexually confused.
Yeah, I mean,
I've never been attracted to Carol Baskin before, but I am now.
No, not particularly. And she's an attractive woman. But they got her in like the mom jeans and like the, carrying the leopard skin fucking bag and shit. I don't hate it. I don't.
Just make it good. Just make it good.
Yeah. But I really think this is going to be one of those things. It's going to be like probably not that good.
So that's my question.
If I like this series, right? I like the story. I like how over the top it was. It needed to be over the top, and that's what America needed at that time. We needed that. We needed something to take our mind off being locked in our houses. We needed something to take our mind off not having any money and getting a $1,200 stimulus check and shit, right? Mm-hmm. We needed our money. We needed our mind off that. And Joe Exotic and Carol Baskin, they took our mind. They filled that void in America that we needed, right? And so we know that it's an over-the-top story. We know that it's inflated. And it's like Harambe. It was the hero we needed, and maybe we probably didn't even deserve. And so here we are. So we know it's not going to be cinematically like great. It's not going to win an Academy Award. Let's be honest. But it's going to be fun to watch. It can be, and she's a comedian.
Sure. Sure.
You know what I mean? Kate McKinnon's a really funny woman.
She's a very funny woman. Very funny.
And I don't know who they cast in other parts of this.
Okay.
We've kind of talked about it back and forth a little bit.
Here you go.
But I mean,
so
given the right cast, this could be a very fun and entertaining show.
I don't know if it's I can zoom in a little bit, but so I got Kate McKinnon as Carol Baskin. Let's see, we got Dean Winters. I love Dean Winters. He's going to be playing Jeff Lowe. You recognize him from Rescue Me, 30 Rock, Sex and the City, Law and Order. He plays Mayhem, the Allstate Insurance Mayhem.
Yes,
Keep him away
he's
from
funny.
Mayhem. So he's going to be Jeff Lowe.
Okay.
John Cameron Mitchell is playing Joe Exotic. All right, I can see that. All right. Brian Van Holt as John Rinke. Sam Keeley is playing John Finlay. Nathan Wolfe is playing Travis Maldiano. William Fitchner. Oh my God, what a great actor. He's playing Rick Kirkham. I don't remember which one's Rick Kirkham. Was he?
I don't remember.
Yeah, was he one of the gay guys, the ones that he married or
I
something?
think so. Yeah.
And then Kyle MacLachlan, who's known from Twin Peaks and a billion other things, is playing Howard Baskin. I remember one of my favorite things was How I Met Your Mother when he played the captain.
Mm-hmm.
The captain.
Yes.
Right. And then yeah.
John Cameron Mitchell is actually going to be a really good fucking Joe Exotic as well.
I can see it. I can definitely see it.
I can see it too. I can 100% see it.
So yeah. So otherwise, it's gonna be. I'm excited. I'm excited. Do you think that they can capture the same frenzy as because it was real? We were seeing real things happen on the docuseries. We were watching real. I don't think a dramatic retelling of it can be quite as crazy. It's like watching Unsolved Mysteries. Remember that show? Unsolved.
Yes.
So you're watching the retelling now. It's very it's like, oh my God, I can't believe this really happened, because it's a dramatic retelling of it. But it's very different than you're watching Cops as they chase down and beat a guy. You know what I mean? Where you're like, holy God, that's literally happening, and I'm watching it. So I'm curious how they can live up to the hype of something like Joe Exotic and the Tiger King docuseries. Wasn't there another one they were doing too, like a movie version with Nicolas Cage as Joe Exotic? I think that was out there somewhere.
They talked about it. I don't think that there was a lot of. I don't think that really came to fruition.
Yeah.
But I really do like. I don't hate this. I don't. Because like I said, I don't think at all it's going to be anything like the. It's not going to win a fucking Academy Award. They're not going to be. This is not going to be
something
the
Oscars.
It's not critically acclaimed, but it's going to be good. It's going to be entertaining.
It's going to be enjoyable.
We're going to enjoy watching it.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what I mean, dude. It doesn't have to be a big budget. It doesn't have to have all these fucking. Make it entertaining. Make it something that I'm going to sit down after a day at work or on a Saturday when I have it off and be flipping through Netflix and be like, that's how this shit happened. That's how Joe Exotic came to be famous and be all of the things, and how we fell in love with Tiger King and the drama and the schematics, like fucking wiring diagrams, but whatever, the semantics behind the whole thing, right? Was we were bored, we had a hole, and Joe Exotic filled it. Joe Exotic filled America's hole when we needed.
So you're saying America had a hole and Joe Exotic filled
it. Joe Exotic filled America's desperate hole.
Oh, God. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we've reached the end of another wonderful episode of Pop Culture Warrior. Mr. Radar. Mr. Radar, can you tell the fine folks at home what a typical week of programming here at WTF Nation Radio is
All right,
like?
so a typical week. Well, this is Tuesday, and you've been listening to Pop Culture Warrior on Tuesday with CQ and Radar. Tomorrow, Wednesday, a Donza Day, a day of no scheduled activities. Thursday, sorts time. You got Ice, you got Spanky, you got big sergeant stuff, right? You got the active army, the National Guard, the reserves, the retirees, all kinds of crazy shit happening. Something we didn't talk about, and I want to take a minute because this man was in a lot of our chain of command at one time or another, right? Colin Powell died at 84 yesterday. Amazing man. I had a chance to meet him. Great dude. Super. He's 84. He was a Vietnam vet, Gulf War, fucking commander, all that stuff. If you know the Army, you know Colin Powell, he passed away. That's something we're not going to talk about on Sergeant Time. It's going to be Sergeant Time this week. Sorry about it. Anyway, Friday night freedom. You got Cause, you got Pookie, you got all kinds of crazy shenanigans. It's a good show. Check it out. Saturday, Sunday, Donza. Day of no scheduled activities. It's the weekend, baby. Oh, the weekend. We're gonna be partying, drinking some beers. Maybe we'll smoke some meats on the grill. But we'll be back on Monday with the Monday edition. Ice, Flash, some show, exciting things, top stories, new stuff for the week, crazy shit happened after the weekend. Whatever they talk about is good shit. Should be there. Then Tuesday, come back around to Pop Culture Warrior, the show you're listening to right now or watching it. If you have podcast, Facebook Live, whatever you're doing. We're here every Tuesday at, well, it's like 1800 my time,
8 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. for interviews. I don't know.
Yep.
Oh man, thank you, Jen. He says, I love you guys.
Hey.
New Tuesday night pastime. You got you in. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I don't know, whatever Radar says about you, I appreciate you. And I've been informed to let the people know that the Iceman cometh. Ice is coming back. I asked for an ETA. All he said was end of the month. So take that for what it's worth. But sometime at the end of this month, we can expect the return of Ice to WTF Nation Radio. A triumphant return, a rebirth, a resurgence, like the phoenix rising from the ashes. He is reborn, new and improved. I'm very excited to see what Ice is bringing. I happen to be talking with him on the side about his new setup and things, and very excited. Very, very excited to see.
It's going to be amazing. I am so stoked.
It's wait till you see, man. I've seen some of the graphics and some of the stuff, and it's going to be pretty dope. I'm excited. It's just an attack of the Ice clone. All right, guys. Thank you so much, as always, for tuning in, checking us out. This has been a lot of fun. Next week, we've got a really fun guest for you, man. This guy, and I'm terrible at pronouncing names. I'm a horrible, horrible human being that years in the military, and I'm still not good at pronouncing people's names, but I will give it my damnedest attempt here. We have a wonderful actor named Parvesh Cheena. Now, you might not know the name, but I guarantee you know the actor. You've seen him in something. Let's see. I'm going to real quick. Parvesh Cheena. The first Parvesh that shows up. This guy has been in so many things, from Barbershop, Universal Remote, Other End of the Line, Housebroken, Everything Before Us, literally right before Aaron, Lady and the Tramp, the Disney version, the CGI version. But he's been on TV shows from ER, The West Wing, Till Death, My Name is Earl, Sons of Tucson, A to Z, The Goldbergs, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, Big Bang Theory. I mean, he's been on so many things. Mythic Quests. He's a phenomenal actor. I'm very excited to talk with him. I think he's going to be fun. He's hilarious. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun, that conversation. So definitely tune in next week for a wonderful, wonderful conversation with Parvesh. The Iceman is set.
If you have kids my age, you're gonna know him from fucking Mira, Royal Detective.
Hey.
I had to watch the entire series of that last weekend.
Okay.
Thanks to my 5-year-old daughter.
So you know the voice.
I know the voice, and I've seen him when
right?
It popped up the picture. I've seen him in things.
That's what I said. Like it's one of those guys that like the name is not gonna ring a bell, but when you see him, when you hear him, you're gonna go like, oh shit, I've seen that guy in things. Like I've seen that guy. I've heard that guy. He's that guy. I'm so excited. And we got him on the show. It's a true story. Funny, real quick, true story. We got him on the show because a couple weeks ago we had who was it? Gabrielle Kernan. We had Gabrielle Kernan on the show. She was an awesome guest. She had a lot of fun. We were talking about it. She posted about it on her social media. She had such a good time. She's like, I did this show. It was a lot of fun. He, I guess a friend of hers, commented on her picture or on her post and was like, oh, that's awesome. Looks like you guys had fun. And so I just kind of like, what the hell? So I kind of threw a comment in there like, hey, man, we did have a good time. You should come on the show and we'll have a good time too. And he was like, well, I won't do it unless she says it's worth it. And of course she commented also and she said, oh my God, it's a great time. Highly recommend it, endorse it. And so now we're going to have him on the show. So social media, man.
I'm excited.
Networking. It's a real thing. Get the word out. Let people know. Post about us, share about us, like us, comment, subscribe, all the things. And also, for those that weren't here earlier, we are doing a Halloween costume contest. Get us pictures of your costumes. You can't win if we can't see your costumes. If you want to submit your dog in a hot dog costume, I don't care. Get pictures of you, pictures of your kids, pictures, well, maybe not kids, that gets creepy. Pictures of you, pictures of your pets.
Hey, I'm gonna turn in pictures of my kids. My kids are cute as hell. I'll see you.
I feel creepy asking for pictures of people's kids, but
in costume.
Have you seen some of the costumes these kids are wearing? Anyway, send in pictures of costumes and people and animals, or decorate your house. Send us pictures of your haunted house or haunted cubicle.
Or your car.
Your car, whatever,
dude. Mm-hmm.
Send it to us. You can win prizes. I mean, how hard is it? Snap a picture. Win prizes. You'd be awesome. Yep. So, all right, guys. With that, end of another wonderful episode. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. We love each and every one of you. You guys make it so worth it. We'll see you next time. So, say bye, Radar.
Bye, Radar.
Shots.